Hi, I'm Jack.
And I'm Ian, and today we're reviewing Weapons.
So Weapons is one of the biggest movies of the year so far. I would say it's made by Zach Cregger in his second feature film after the hit movie Barbarian, which I have very mixed feelings about, but a lot of people loved it. And so basically, Weapons is about in the middle of the night at 2:17 a.m., 17 kids, 17 elementary school kids, inexplicably just leave their homes in the middle of the night and are never seen again. And only one kid the next day shows up to class. And the teacher there, who is also relatively new, is just pulled into this insane media frenzy. And it's an exploration through multiple perspectives about what's going on and why did this happen in the first place. And it is an insane ride.
Before we do continue, I do want to say we're going to touch on some heavier themes throughout the rest of this review, so if that makes you uncomfortable, I would say click off now.
Yes.
But yeah, this movie, I was very surprised. I also have a lot of mixed feelings about Barbarian. I remember watching it and I was like, this movie's like so like, I just like didn't like it the whole time I was watching it. But I was watching it at a friend's house, and when I went to go to my car to like walk out of their house and go to my car at night, I was like, I'm really freaked out right now. And it's because I
Yes.
watched this movie. So I like, in the end, I guess it's a great horror movie. I haven't rewatched it since then, which I definitely deserves a rewatch. But going into this, I had very high expectations, and I think it delivered. I don't know. I feel like the trying to pull the theme out of this movie was kind of like trying to pull like the mystery out of the other one, like trying to figure out what was going on in the other one is like the same thing. I don't know.
I would say going into it, I had very low expectations actually, because coming out of Barbarian, it was like a middle of the road, I'd say 5 out of 10 movie for me, because I thought it was really effective in being scary, and I loved like its use of cinematography and production, especially with the house. But I thought the themes and just kind of its weird transition from horror to comedy didn't gel. And so learning that Weapons was going to be kind of a similar film, going from horror to comedy, I was kind of nervous. But I think it does it really well in this sense.
I agree, especially if my theater was very into the whole comedy aspect of it. And everybody who I've talked to about this movie, the comedy seems to be kind of what they're taking away the most out of it, which I think it works really well. I'm not a huge fan of the horror as much, because to me it was more jump scary than like tension, which which I don't like as much. But I thought the jump scares were good.
I thought
at
the jump
least.
scares were good, but I also thought the scenes of tension were extremely well done. Like the scene of her like sleeping in the car and the lady comes out and you just hear it open. Like that put me on edge, and also the drug addict in the woods just seeing
Yeah.
Gladys like slowly wave her. Like it's genuinely a scary movie, and I feel like each jump scare, when it happens, it doesn't feel
Yeah,
cheap. Like
yeah.
like it feels like it's effective and it does exactly what it wants to do.
And it's kind of cheap in a way that it's supposed to be kind of cheap, because they know that it's just a jump scare. But they always are using the tension to build to these jump scares in a way that it's not like it happens and I'm like, screw you, movie. It's like all right, you got me.
But also just the general imagery of it is just so disturbing. Like the footage from the Ring cameras of the kids running out of their house, and that entire scene where the principal is running after the teacher and his eyes are
Yeah.
just bulgy and red. It's horrifying.
Yeah. How do you feel about the like I guess like the weapons, like the way that these people are turning into the weapons and going after
Like
everyone?
what I got from it thematically, or just how I felt about the general storyline?
I'm just asking like storyline right now.
I thought it was really good. It kind of reminded me of like the tale of like the Pied Piper in a way, someone luring these kids like out of their homes and using them as a tool against the populace, or just for that person's gain. I thought it was like very like cleverly done, because I know the whole trope of like witches and all of that can be a bit like boring or predictable, but I thought the way it was revealed was very effective, and also just it made you feel so much for like all the kids involved and just what they were going through.
I agree, especially like the way that it builds up to the reveal is really good. I kind of had a problem with them like just cutting to Alex's chapter and them being like, this is everything that's going on. Like, here's the answer. Which I guess thinking about it, I don't see another way for them to have really done it other
Yeah.
than like getting, like her basically explaining to him how everything's working. But I did really love like the mystery and the way the dad, his storyline, how he figured out with the teacher like where the lines are converging. That
Yeah.
was a really cool moment for me. I just liked the detective work, and I liked us building up to it. I just felt like learning it all at once kind of a little like kind of diminished the reveal to me.
I honestly thought it was one of those things where it didn't felt like it was all thrown at me at once. It felt like there were still some kind of context clues missing, and it was essentially the film asking me to kind of put those pieces together and me coming to my own conclusion of, oh, this obviously happened, and so this and this and that. And I thought it was done obviously not in the best way a horror movie could do it, but I thought it was done in a way that kept me engaged and kept me wanting to learn more about the mystery itself. And even when it unraveled, I was still like, wow.
Yeah. And I still did have questions afterwards because
Oh
like
yeah,
how does she have these powers in the first place? But like
exactly.
that's not really for us to answer. But before we wrap up, I do want to talk about the theme of this movie and like what you took away from it.
So what I took away from it is obviously, I think first and foremost, it is about school shootings. The gigantic AR-15 in the sky showing the timestamp, I don't think was obviously just a coincidence or just a symbol that Zach Cregger put in the film. But I also think the aftermath of the whole incident itself, the parents blaming the teacher and pointing the finger at her, I feel like that's something that is very apparent in what we go through today, and especially in America, how we always try and find a singular person to pin it on, whether it be teachers, principals, etc. And we always pick the wrong things to blame, like how people will blame like mental illness instead of the weapon
Yeah.
in the scenario. But instead of like coming together and putting like an effective or being effective in solving the problem, we are so kind of misguided by grief and anger, and it's very understandable like why what happened in the movie happened, but it's also I think a tragic reflection of what happens in our country and how we deal with stuff like this.
You just put that so eloquently in a way that I never could have, so thank you. And that being said, what would you give this movie out of 10?
I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I'd say it's a massive improvement from Barbarian, and I'm really excited to see what Zach Cregger has in store for us next.
Yeah, I'm also giving this an 8 out of 10. It was just really enjoyable watch all the way through. Definitely one of my favorites of the year so far, and I'm also excited to see what Zach Cregger is cooking up next. So,
Thank you for watching.
yeah, thank you.